And welcome back. Game number 2, Antic currently leading us best of 2 in a 1-0 fashion, in a pretty dominating one as well, Tally. 26 minutes, 15k gold lead, and an Aphelios that hit double digits.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually want to touch on something funny there. So, we've seen Zarnus' player cam for so long, and I really love the growth we're seeing in the background of his camera because, it's been a couple of years and we started, with nothing in the background, and he's got a couch now, he's got a desk, he's got a whiteboard. He's got, many different accessories in the background. It's nice to, I like to pay attention to the players, cameras, who's making their bed. Obviously, Incursio isn't today, so, he had a very clean game in game 1, but he isn't, having a very clean performance IRL, so that's something he could improve on right now.
He's not locking it down IRL, but I tell you what, Razor's got the boots, he's got the shoes behind him, all nicely tucked away, so I tell you what, it's almost like we're watching the growth of these individuals. It's beautiful, right? We get to see how IRL is going in combination with the game. He's obviously not looking too happy with that one, though, as we do load in to the second draft and get to see what an Antic draft looks like in week 3 on blue side.
Yeah, I have to see if Ion want to once again, pay the Draven tax, and if they don't, I am curious if Antic even prioritizes this champ because it has been 100% ban rate. We don't even know if Raze wants to play this champ straight away, but knowing him, it's something he's very comfortable on, but once again, I like that Antic are banning away LeBlanc because I think that's one of the, side lanes I keep talking about that is, so strong right now. And it's just another chance to ban away from Ion, Skimmy.
Oh, hold. Zornus is locked in. Is he locking it in for himself? Or is Foreigner going to say, actually, hand me the keys, buddy? Surely not. Lock this one in, Zornus. You are the pioneer of wild and wacky champs. We want to see it, mate. Please.
And also another one is we have left Corki open. We haven't seen this champ since the first week, so I'm really excited to see what he can do. I would, once again, I want to see Corki in the bot lane because as a mid laner, I think it doesn't really do anything besides scale. You do have the ability to play aggressive, but it's so much harder as a mid laner because you have to worry about, getting ganked from both sides of the lane. You have to worry about, jungle coming for you, multiple roams. But, as a bot laner, you can pick it all in champ and you can really abuse that Halo Blades, E-start level 1 Corki, and I think that's where he really shines.
I agree, yeah. As we saw a few of those clips out there, right? You just max the Gatling gun, especially with a lot of early lethality. You are doing so much damage. It basically does feel like the harpoon from that Rumble, which on this occasion did get denied. So, Corki paired with the Nautilus, potentially still a flex, so we have to wait and see. The way getting hovered right now, that was what Incursio was debating about before he went for the Akali in the game 1, but this time says, you know what? I'm just going to lock this one in nice and early and allow us to conceal the rest of our picks.
I would like to see Antic drop their support here, even though they have shown Nautilus. I think Braum, if you can pick it later, if they do, break the flex of the Corki and show double 80 carry, Braum into Nautilus versing double 80 carry is an extremely strong pick. You throw up the wall, you're able to block so much of that auto attack damage coming out. You're a very good counter into the Nautilus himself because once you go in, he is not getting out. And, pair that with the amount of CC coming out of, Viego's able to proc your passive so quickly, the Skarner lockdown, and whatever 80 carry pairing they decide to go for, I think it is such a good pick if they get that later on.
Maybe there's a world in which the Braum is still being considered, unless Ion are on the same wavelength as yourself there, Tally, and look to try and deny in this second ban rotation. Let's see what they partner with their first 2 picks. Going to run the clock all the way down to the very end and then settle on Jax.
Oh, also, Steven to mention, so they picked the Viego, which means the flex is broken, so this will be a... No, it won't actually, because I know Jackie plays the support, so it is still a flex, but hopefully this goes to top, because I know it's a decent matchup into the Jax. You're able to spam your harass onto him. He can't really do anything into the Skarner. He's such a tanky champion. He doesn't really care if Jax is going to keep, beating his head because he's just an I don't even know what Skarner's made up. He's a rock. He's a semi-mountain. He's half Malphite, half Scorpion.
Well, I'm confused now. Because before you'd be like, oh, he's like a crystal scorpion, and now you're just like, he's a scary scorpion, what is he anymore? We don't know, but I tell you what we do know is that the second rotation of bans come out, and the Aphelios has also been denied. A little bit too strong, and you can understand why, because it's like Antic have got the makings of a similar setup where we have a strong front line and a back line AD carry that can farm up all the kills as a result. The Kennen is a nice little bit of a adjustment here from the Antic side, right? Understanding that Doraemon will flex for this and has done already in these initial few weeks. The Rel also, so the Braum is up and available. We'll have to wait and see if the draft works out in a way where it still looks good for Antic.
Yeah, I'm curious to what Raze wants to prioritize here because, we would tend to think he'd go for the Jinx, but I think it's quite hard to pick Jinx into, such a strong bot lane, especially when they don't know what jungler could come out yet. But, you know, I think, you know, the Braum pairing with you, if he wants to go for the Zeri, the Jinx, or like whatever other AD carry he likes to prioritize here, I think is, you know, a really good option for Antic and really like load out their draft and make it, you know, just a really strong front to back, very strong skirmishing, no scaling problems, and once again, like they have the side laner in Skarner. And that's another problem with the champion, is like he's a tank, but he can also side lane, so he's like he's just, you know, he's the Cassandra replacement for us right now.
He certainly does feel like that way, doesn't it? But the Camille is going to be the response to it. Now, we've seen a fair bit of Camille recently, primarily in Tien's hand, and to very good success. You just mentioned the point about having a split pusher to match, so I think that's already going to be covered. But what is the way that you know, Raze wants to navigate this one? You're thinking of a strong AD carry with mobility, Caitlyn, Kaiser, but in the end, settles for Zeri.
Just pick the Braum, please, I'm begging you. It's so broken, but you know we see Raze go for the mobile option, which I think is the better choice. There's so much like multiple dive threats coming out of Ion. He wants to not, he doesn't want to get, you know, Nautilus ulted and the Camille flank coming out of nowhere. Something to touch on is that we do have the Camille going into the top lane, so you know they want to be able to deal with this tank with that true damage coming out of the Camille, which is, you know, it's just always a good option. But Jax, as an answer to Viego in the jungle, in the 1v1, he is extremely strong. You know, he's able to dodge out on, like, you know, Viego's entire kits based on auto attacks. His ult is an auto attack, so you're able to dodge out the damage coming out of his ult. Very, very good matchup for, you know, both the top and the jungle.
And whilst we wanted the Braum, we do get Alistair, which I'm curious on your interpretation of this, right? Because initially I would say this is like the second best bet compared to Braum, because you still have the ability to, you know, knock people away with their headbutt, pulverize if all the dive comes in and knock them up, and be an absolute weapon just with your ultimate online. But how do you see this one?
Yeah, it's definitely well, not as strong at like the lockdown and the damage threat. Alistair's really, really good at peeling. You know, you get that headbutt pulverize. Is an engage option because, you know, when you look at anti-comp, they don't really have many engage tools. It's just like the Skarner. Dracu picking Alistair means they still have that flash combo, you know, threat. They have another dive buddy to pair with Zornis if they want to go for like more of a dive option. But more than likely, we're going to see Antic play that like very, you know, front to back style because they want to deal with this dive threat coming out of the Camille and Jax.
Well, let's talk about the comps then. If we take a step back, we do have Corki in the mid lane, which I know you're not the biggest fan of, and is going to be there to try and scale, and I suppose scale alongside that of the Hui. But in terms of the bot lane, obviously there's no bidding around the bush. Kaiser Nautilus is also a very, very strong matchup, right? Obviously so much innate damage from the Nautilus at the get-go, but then those plasma stacks linking up with it too. Should help bridge the gap before, you know, the Kaiser can truly evolve.
Yeah, and this is a different style that we're seeing out of Styx. Like, this is the first time we're seeing him on that, like, hyper carry, you know, the Gala-esque, the Ruler-esque carries. We're all thinking about, like, when Kaiser has the pop-off moments, like, it's the champ that can really 1v9. So, you know, it's nice to see a different style coming out of Styx, because we're really used to him playing, like, the, you know, the Ezreals, the Varus, the Jins, like, these very slow, you know, methodical team fighters. So, we have to see if he's able to, you know, fit into this new style of AD carry.
They certainly have a lot of diving options. If you think about it, all 5 champions on Iron can basically do just that, get in your face and cause a little bit of chaos. But what can Antic do in response? As we talked about already in Game 1, a champion like Viego can certainly flourish when people are getting all crazy and find resets left, right, and center. But the mobility, I think, is the saving grace here, right? The fact that Ray's got the Zeri. But then we are finally going to get to see what a laning Skarner looks like. And if this does well, I think it puts the rest of the league on notice.
Yeah, definitely. I assume, like, the rest of the league is scrimming with this champion as well, so they all know about it, and that's why we keep seeing it get banned. He is also like a 3-way flex, which is such a like big deal to deal with. I see Collie walking up.
Oh, so risky. Ooh, so risky. The rest of his team looking to try and back away, and he says, yep, I'll put that ward down, I don't care.
Yeah, decide not to go for the late invade. I do think the 3-3 on the Ion is winning, but we see, you know, they're just going to leave. They want to play for like the standard clear away, and I think this will, you know, be a very standard early game coming out of both sides. Corki can't really play aggressive into the Hui because you don't really want to step out of the wave and allow him to land spells onto you. That's when Hui is so strong when he gets the, you know, Procky's passive. You know, become the painter in a sense. You know, there's so much damage that he will be able to do, and as Corki, you don't really have the kit to be able to match that damage in the early game.
Well, I was just going to talk about that in terms of matching. Obviously, damage is going to be a bit of an issue, but also the range. Surely there's no way Corki can look to answer back until he's got level 6. And even then, the rockets aren't going to be anywhere near as much of, you know, Incursio painting a Picasso painting.
Yeah, Corki's strength is you're able to get pushed though. Like, you know, abusing the Gatling gun and like the Q out of Corki, you're able to, you know, just push, you know, 6 minions at once, whereas Hui doesn't really have access to that same wave clear power in the early game though. When you hit around the, you know, the level 7, level 9 mark, you're able to get more points into your Q, and you could really, you know, throw out that mini rumble ult, you know, pair that with the EE combo, and it's so easy to clear out these waves. But like, as we see, we're going to see Jovi just constantly get priority with like the Gatling gun harass and like able to push the waves. But I would always, you know, give the 1v1 in the like little micro scenarios in lane to the Hui.
Does it almost feel like this pressure, though, from Jovi is a little bit fake? Because where does the Cookie really want to roam to at this stage? You'd almost want to be kind of landlocked and just farm up absolutely everything you can find, and a full time for your Camille and your Jax to become a bit of a menace to link up with too.
Yeah, you can still use your priority to do other things besides roaming. You can go get deep wards, you find out where the enemy jungler is, you can check his camps. You don't always have to be, roaming when you get priority. You can also, like, as Incursio in this position, you have to use your spells onto the minions, whereas Jovi, the wave's going to be dead, so you can, step past the wave and make sure, like, if you're going to trade on me, you're missing minions. So there's always, like, a win-win case for Jovi when the wave's pushing.
And as you mentioned, we saw a perfect demonstration of that, right? Incursio going for the wave, Jovi then hitting a phosphorus bomb onto Incursio and forcing him to stand back. Now, I feel like we've seen this kind of matchup before, right? We saw it when we had them up against Direwolves, right? It was Guapi and Mochi constantly looking to push in the wave, roam, rotate, and find success elsewhere. But the wave shouldn't really have to feel too pressured by that one, as long as you've got trust in your laners. Happy days, right? You don't need to feel too concerned that people are going to die as a result of that one. Foreigner with a double buff is going to get the Scuttler top side, offer a little bit of extra protection here to Zornus, who's going to path all the way back and hang on to that TP with a tear in his pocket. But I tell you what, Coley has gone for the face check. Counter-Strike is there, into the shadows, trying to buy a little bit of time, gets stunned up, but now it becomes a 2v2. The upheaval not going to connect, but the flashes have to be burnt. And Jovi now considering, can I find much more? What a fear! Unbelievable there from Incursio, denying the kill that Doraemon was hoping to find with that flash hook shot. And then another flash from Zornus to bait them over. Jovi jumping to follow. He's going to find a kill of his own. Trade it 1-for-1. Look at the damage from Wave!
One reset!
Unbelievable! Find the kill, dash away! And Phone is just like, I need to get close. I need that soul. I need that gold. And Incursio's like, where's my team? I'm burning a flash. Everybody's burning a flash. But I think Antic come out in the end.
He still has the Severin Bob coming up in 5 seconds. If he does land this, there will be enough damage to execute Doraemon, but I think this is pretty easy to dodge in the early game. It's not too, not too much damage you're going to have to worry about. Incursio did so much work in that skirmish, so he put his entire team on his back, cancelling hook shocks, outputting the most damage, finding multiple passive procs, and it was unfortunate Foreigner was unable to find the reset, because if he was, that would have been a completely different fight, but once again, going to come out as an even trade, but, something to mention is, Raze does find the double kill in the bot lane, as we weren't able to see, as we were looking in on the top side fight. We go on to the replay. Once again, the story of the first game was that, we had to fight the top side, but the bot lane found a kill first, so once again, we see, Ion going aggressive here, but you can't ignore, the Alistair damage that comes out here. And he's able to bait it out, and Zeri is just pretty much uncontested at this point. Really good into the shields because her passive is able to steal away the shields, and it's a good boost coming out of Raze. Finds to execute with the passive, and Hex Flash, who, has access to the flash, decides to hold it, I assume, and just goes down.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a mechanical masterclass from the bot lane there of Antic, and saying, well, you burn a flash, but you are going to die. Sure, Raze concedes herself in the process, but you're going to be pretty happy about that one. If it is going to be a battle between two hyper carries, then, on this occasion, it is Antic that come out with a W. 1k gold lead then, as the dust does settle at 6 minutes into this one, but it does mean that Iron are going to push the pace and make sure they rush for these dragons, which, especially in game one, were very much left to the wayside. Yeah,
and I would think Antic are very, very happy with that bot lane outcome, because their bot lane is much weaker in the early game. The Kai'Sa Nort, you think of Kai'Sa Nort, the amount of damage that comes out of the Kai'Sa passive, and how much damage Norlis can do himself, so I think it's very surprising they were able to pick up the 2v2 there. So, one of their weaknesses in the early game has been covered with the fact that, Zeri's going to have the item gap and be able to, create so much pressure just from the gold lead that she has. But we are seeing the lane swap come through, so I assume, it's a big prioritization on, we want to get grubs, we want to make sure Camille doesn't get as much access to resources as the Skarner, so they don't really care about, top lanes in this game, because one has a carry, one's a tank. Skarner's always going to do his job, but Doraemon really needs items. He really needs levels to be able to play the game. But, going into this lane swap, even though they are the team who is ahead, means that Doraemon won't get gold.
Yeah, which is a massive, massive win then for Antic as a result. Right, Cole has been picked up here by Doraemon to try and scale into this one and find a little bit of extra money wherever it may be found. But to be denied this early on is not going to feel too good in his back pocket there. 3 grubs all going the way then for Antic, as Foreigner sitting on a humble 1 kill scoreline so far, is going to stick around in the area and look to try and link up with his bot lane to see if they can find any more action.
Yeah, one thing to note though is that it is pretty hard to dive the Camille at this point. Like, she is level 6, she has access to the Hextech ultimatum, so it's very easy to outplay the headbutt combo, especially if with the Ion support jungle being topside to counter this dive. So I assume it's just going to be push, reset, keep avoiding. If they do want to commit to this though, it's still good for them, because Doraemon once again always pressured, can't really find access to as much gold as he would in the 1v1. But Styx, I think, will do fine in the 1v1. He does have boots, so he's able to kite around the Skarner, but, you know, in a straight-up fight, I'd always give that to Zarnus.
Patiently waiting are both sides, looking to see who makes the first move. Antic feigning. Yeah, we've gone for a reset. You saw us in that first wall, but you don't anymore. Doraemon jumps on in the end and says, look, I've still got a team behind me. Goes in with the Hextech Ultimatum. The exhaust instantly onto Coley to make sure that their Counter-Strike doesn't find any success. The cleanse not available. The flash already been burnt, but the barrier buying crucial time for the cavalry to arrive. And Antic say hello. Joby late to respond because the first reset's been found by Foreigner. And Niviego is well and truly online. Leaps in with the Counter-Strike, finds a double stun, finds a double kill, and gets a double soul. They look for more. They find another reset, and they've just got everything here, Tally.
Yeah, and they knew this was happening. They knew they were in the bush. They were trying to bait that play, but, you know, they just didn't have the damage to take down Raze. You know, pops the barrier, takes out so much damage there, and Joby's just all by himself now.
He certainly is all by himself. Draku, having already burnt the ultimate, is going to be incredibly squishy on this Alistair, but he's going to pay the ultimate price of dying for the bigger prize, which is give Raze yet another kill and make sure that early game is so much in their control.
Yeah, and Raze is going to be able to base, pick up his first item, so like he's navigated the hardest part in the game with Zeri, and now it's just all scaling for Zeri from this point. You're going to be able to get the, you know, the IE next if he wants to go for that, and it's so easy for Zeri to take over the game from this point.
Let's run it back with a replay once again, because this felt like just 60 seconds of patiently waiting to see who would make the first move.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a split focus coming out of Ion. I think this is the main problem with this fight here. We see like the, you know, CC going on to the Alistair, but he's got the ult. He's going to take up so much damage here. And, you know, Raze doesn't have flash yet, but he able to navigate, you know, the lack of flash with the barrier combo here. And this is where Viego shines. These messy skirmishes where you're able to, you know, constantly find these resets. And the team comp coming out of Ion just isn't that good at, you know, taking over the game. When the Camille and the Jax are down, you don't really have that same skirmish pressure because Corki is just, you know, not doing much at this point in the game.
Yeah, you're talking about scaling champions. Corki, Jax, Camille, they all want to scale. Kaiser obviously to a lesser degree too. But you've gifted Antic an opportunity to say, well, we've got the early game under wraps now, and you've already been forced to deal with a lane swap, which isn't too desirable. Your itemization has had to adjust as a result on top of all that. And they're going to be sitting on Sheens compared to completed items from their opposition.
Yeah, we're already seeing like completed items come out of multiple members from Antic, and I think that the pace on the game is just going to keep being, you know, very aggressive all the time. I'm going to see Raze constantly swap around to objectives. I think, you know, they end up giving this Dragons because he wants to get as many plays top lane and, you know, get as far ahead as he can, because they don't really need Dragon to play this game. They don't need to get sold. They're in such a good scaling position.
Two Bruisers going to leave their lane completely and say we need to force a dive, we need to get a kill any means possible. Doraemon tanks up the tower nicely, so no casualties in this process. And that's much needed gold for them, but there's always a trade and there's certainly a consequence, and that means that Raze with the static shiv not only is his wave clear fantastic, but they'll take down the first turret too. Yeah,
they're doing a really good job right now. I think that it's just all about getting gold onto this Zeri, you know, making sure that Raze as far ahead as possible. If they don't start this Dragon ASAP, I think he's just going to come out of base and just do a really, you know, just be able to take over the game. But we have to see, depending on where they want to deploy this lane. Yeah, as we do see the gold, like, it's just a huge lead right now. Like, 3,000 gold at this point in the game. We're seeing, like, you know, we're seeing Lemus numbers, you know, and we thought that was pretty out of this world. So he's already on his way to having the IE. He's got most of his components, and, you know, based on his lane deploys, we see Inkosu TPing back. They really want to be able to get both these objectives. Have to see if Foreigner is able to sneak away these grubs, though.
Let's see if he can get all six, would be absolutely huge, but it paints a pretty brutal picture, right? Raze having double the gold of sticks right now. Both these hyper-scaling champions, but one just so far ahead. All 6 stacks then confirmed. So the ability to be split-pushing menaces on Ion has been well and truly faulted, but Antic with the positioning can rotate, can roam, can force these lane swaps, and can continue to keep the likes of Coley and Doraemon guessing as to, well, where do we need to be? Can we even lane, or do we need to be grouped up as a buddy system and just try and dive anybody?
Yeah, and we do keep seeing Antic's praises right now, but, you know, we should touch base with Ion a bit here. Joby's able to pick up the Triforce, which is really, like, he's very ahead of the clock, which is surprising based on how the early game's been going. So as long as he's able to keep scaling, and his team isn't going to leave him alone in these 2v1 scenarios, he's still going to have, you know, a very good game. He's very on the clock. I think Incursio is not as strong as him right now. You know, he's sitting on components. He's going to go for the Leandris first, which means he's going to be very weak. The item doesn't really allow him to, you know, wave clear well, because he's not going to have access to the amount of mana that he needs as the Hui. But I think, you know, based on this game state, it's not, you know, completely lights out for Ion yet. They still have gold on the members who need it, but they just need to worry about, you know, how strong Raze is right now. Because he does have the damage, but he still can die.
He certainly can still die, but he does have double summoners up and available once again, so can be incredibly nimble to outmaneuver situations that look like a death wish against him. There is the Leandris, as you mentioned, now fully completed for Incursio in that mid lane. And it's just cresting over a 4K lead in their favor so far, having just picked up the second spawning of their Drake. They're going to deny Iron from finding any early soul point, but it is an Infernal Soul to get, so I think both teams are going to be quite happy about that one. And we should see a lot more emphasis put towards this bottom half of the river.
Yeah, definitely. I think something to also notice is that Joby is able to muscle out Raze in the 1v1. Like, strictly speaking, like Ive spikes and strength right now, is Corki will be a bit stronger than the Zeri in the 1v1. Zeri's just going to be able to, you know, scale a bit faster, and that's the main thing. So it's good to see. Iron still have a lane of control if they want to enable him. I think they're leaving him, you know, quite alone right now based on the map state, and Foreigner's just being able to, you know, walk behind if Joby does push up too far and just find an easy kill.
I think the top side of Iron is the one that's most behind right now, isn't it? Right? I mean, you look at the CS check and you see that both jungle and top laners are just really looking to claw for any kind of scraps they can find. It doesn't seem like Doraemon's been in a 1v1 against Zoranus for the last 5 minutes, constantly roaming between lanes, hanging out in jungle bushes and seeing if anyone decides to go for a face check. But it's just not going to happen. Antic are not allowing him to find those situations. There is the roam, the reset, but the ganking squad of Antic waiting and ready to pounce upon anybody that presents themselves to them, as Hexflash will be the first one to fall on down. There is the two-man counter-strike. Can they find any more as a result of this one? The lightning crash goes out. Fauna limps away, burns an ultimate and buys crucial space as he gives them the thumbs down emote. He knows that they're winning, and then Curcio is smurfing, finds a triple.
Yeah, so Antic are just positioning to, they want to be able to dive Joby as soon as that wave collapses, and Ion know that, so they have to like come bot, they have to make sure he's able to, you know, play the game as soon as that wave crashes, but Antic just turn straight onto Hexflash. The moment he walks into lane, Hexflash forced to engage because he's caught out, and it's just, you know, as soon as Viego finds that first reset, it's just easy to take over the fight. As we do go into the replay, we see, you know, Hexflash wants to go for the whole play. Sion's just not in position yet. They just don't have threat onto the backline. Doraemon doesn't really have access to like the backline here. And it's so easy based on like how much AoE is coming out this way at this point, and how, you know, Raze is just able to go onto the backline, find sticks in the 1v1. He's always going to win this space in the goalie, as it's just very easy for this team at this point.
It does just feel like this series has been a game of just baiting people out, right? You saw on the tail end of that replay, it's Coley flashing forward to try and take down Foreigner. He just says, nah, you can't catch me. The same obviously for Zoranus in game one, right? Running away, or rather in Curcio on the Akali running away to really try and deny them. But this is becoming a bit of a dicey situation. You were giving Iron the benefit of the doubt before, saying they had some strong laners, and they certainly did. But now after that last fight, they've gone down, well, 8k. And Antic are doing a bit of a world tour, just running all over, be it, you know, there's a Dragon, there's a Grub, there's a Herald. Is it too much of an uphill battle now, do you think?
It's definitely an extremely hard game to play, and I would probably give this like an 80-20, you know, odds for Antic, but they do have abilities to get back into the game. You know, we want to see Doraemon go in like the lane opposite the objective and use that Hexa ultimate to really lock down, you know, whoever's matching him. If it's not the Skana, it's a very easy pick onto Curcio, you know, and they're able to engage from long range. I think that they can find picks if they, you know, we see Antic constantly split up to go for farm. So I think, you know, when they do that, that's when Ion needs to strike and use their engage to find these picks.
Let's see what they can do then, because they're going to be grouped up and respect and respond to the pressure that Antic continue to put out in this bottom half of the map. And still, Zoranus left on his own, just able to freely farm, do as he please, and never really have anybody to interact with, so he's not going to be too upset about that one. Push a wave, rotate to mid, rinse and repeat, and hold on to that TP to always offer them that macro advantage. But the pressure just continues to build from all three lanes. The Herald now being summoned, the pincer collapse onto Joby, and all it takes is the headbutt pole to get it started. And it just feels like Iron are always playing reactive.
Yeah, definitely. It does feel like they're playing reactive. We see like Antic once again always moving first to these objectives, and then they notice, oh, these guys are out of position. Let's engage. It's a very easy pick, and it's pretty much easy time. We see combo after combo after combo, and it's so easy to keep finding these kills, Skimmy.
It's just far too easy at this point. You know, it doesn't even need me to commentate at this point. You're just running us through the play, and I beg you what, are they looking to try and end? I mean, with 6 Void Grubs, you might as well have a crack at it. We might even get ourselves a second Dancing Shelly in as many days. How crazy would that be?
What's the record, Skimmy?
16.5 minutes. I think the record has not been broken on this occasion, but it's still going to be damn quick. They're going to rush it all the way down to get the kills in the Nexus and just win the game. 16 minutes and 45 seconds. I think it's just 20 seconds shy. But my god, is that a quick way to best out a 2-0.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to find out. I think Raze is a bit angry that his record was breaking. He wanted to be able to, you know, take that back himself. So, you know, I have to find out if that one was close or even is the new record. But, you know, really well played from Antic. And I wasn't familiar with their game, honestly, Skimmy. They came out and they have showed us such a strong showing.
They certainly did give us a really strong showing, and that is formidable, right? For all the woes of us giving them a little bit of criticism about, you know, why is it looking so difficult in weeks 1 or 2? Well, they came out and said, look, you think Iron even stand a chance against us? Do you think they're in the conversation to contest the big three? We've told you no. A resounding no with a perfect 2-0. We'll break it all down right after this. Jovi now considering, can I find much more? What a fear! Unbelievable there from Incursio, denying the kill that Doraemon was hoping to find with that flash hook shot. And then another flash from Dominus to bait them over. Jovi jumping to follow. He's going to find a kill of his own. Trade it 1-for-1. Look at the damage from Wei!
One reset!
Unbelievable! Find the kill, dash away! And Fortis just like, I need to get close. I need that soul. I need that gold. And Incursio's like, where's my team? I'm burning a flash. Everybody's burning a flash. But I think Graham is being baited. He flashes away. Instant buster shot to Kisse, who packages him once. Valkyrie's the second time and says, that's a double, make it a triple. Ryoma, welcome back home, but you've got to get through me first.
If I tell you a secret, do you think you can keep it? Describe all of my dreams inside the seams like you just peeked in to my mind on a good day. Inside all the heartache, all of the lows, all of the woes, yeah, you and your worst way. I never ever take their advice. I'd rather be naughty, not nice. I'm like a sucker punch, I hit you with a lie. I'm kinda twisted, yeah, I messed up in my mind. You should be scared. You should be scared. I never ever take their advice. I'd rather be naughty, not nice. I'm like a sucker punch, I hit you with a lie. I'm kinda twisted, yeah, I messed up in my mind. You should be scared. If I tell you you're dreaming, and it's not more than a feeling, it's just a bad, bad dream. Inside the seams like a demon just creeped in to your mind on a bad day. Inside all the heartache, all of the lows, all of the woes, yeah, you and your worst way. I never ever take their advice. I'd rather be naughty, not nice. I'm like a sucker punch, I hit you with a lie. I'm kinda twisted, yeah, I messed up in my mind. You should be scared. You should be scared. I never ever take their advice. I'd rather be naughty, not nice. I'm like a sucker punch, I hit you with a lie. I'm kinda twisted, yeah, I messed up in my mind. You should be scared. You should be scared. I never ever take their advice. I'd rather be naughty, not nice. I'm like a sucker punch, I hit you with a lie. I'm kinda twisted, yeah, I messed up in my mind.
Here's the reason that Kevy's after becomes Tavares. Forced out of the stopwatch, it's carnage! Only triple happening here is for Phyto. Oh, Tavares! It's do or die!
Again, Antic coming up so clutch. This team is looking so fierce. They broke the previous record again, but not the latest record. So it's literally been 2 weeks of records being smashed. And I don't know what these teams, I don't know who to put first anymore. I don't know what I'm looking at, but this is a fierce competition and an incredible split in only week 3, Skimmy. They just looked fantastic.
They certainly did, and I was concerned, right, going into the next game, thinking if Iron don't change something up drastically, it could just be a pretty fast series. I didn't expect them to come out, though, and clutch it up in 16 minutes. It was just, I mean, I'm asking Tally the question, does this game look over? And you're looking to always find that silver lining. Oh, well, you know, if this condition gets met, or if they can find this. But this game was just all about inches, and then as soon as they found that one little opening, there was no looking back. It was just straight through the front door. Hello, how are you? How's the family? Good night.
And you can't even put it on one player, right? Like, this team just looked so good. It was an all-round 5-man effort to really push these leads. Raze there is an absolute monster on this Zeri, and I think it's the first time we've seen Zeri this split thus far, and it's just looked so good, but it's in the hands of a master, so you wouldn't expect anything less there, Tally.
Yeah, definitely. And, as we talk about it, was, all 5 players had a huge impact. Shout out Zarnes, who entered the game 0-1-2 there. He did a lot with Skarner. We finally got to see the top Skarner, but just unable to do anything this game because his team was just gapping way too much. And I think that is in the hands of the, Foreigner and Dracu, because I think both these players were just running around the map and just totally taking over these skirmishes. I was really surprised with, the Alistar pick and, what it would be able to do this game. But, I think Dracu himself had, this solo 1v9 performance in the support position.
Yeah, again, let's talk about this Alistar, because it was just so, basically, felt like Dracu was almost everywhere to a degree. Like, he was making plays, he was making proactive moves, fantastic looks to just say, hey, how can we extend it a little bit more? And you could almost see in his mind, it was ticking over, being like, what's next, what's next? What do you think really pushed that for them, Tally?
I would say it's the, deploys. I think it was really important that they had their strongest members around the objective all the time. And, as you're around the objective, as, you're going to be having the Alistar and the Zeri on the main objectives, that's where the fights are going to happen. And that's why we keep seeing Dracu find these angles, find these engages, because he's always there before the enemy team. He's always getting vision first.
Well, as one of my favorite memes of all time, it's we need more cowbells because we have Dracu on the line looking to join in. Mate, how you doing? First off, you got to give us a flex. Like, you just ended it awesome. You got to give us something.
Give us one of these, mate.
Only if you flex.
Are we all flexing?
Yeah, we're all
I'll
flexing.
do it. Yeah, all right, let's... Nah, it's nothing. I feel bad, man. My chest just isn't good enough. I gotta keep working at it. Every day's chest day too, and it's still not good enough. It's too good. But, Dracu, you played so well. The Alistar, what was the thoughts behind that pick?
I kind of just realized that they all kind of need to engage onto us. So, the only one that I can't, I'm gonna struggle against is, the Corki. But, yeah, everyone else was kind of troll. So, well, easy to play against, so.
Well, so, you were just going in really confident, because we were talking, I think, beforehand. Skimmy, what was the champion, Tally, what was the champion you thought? Braum. You were like, yeah, pick
yeah,
Braum.
Tally was saying this is the perfect Braum position. But, do you feel as if the Alistar was better because you're being a little bit more aggressive, as opposed to almost, allowing them to come at you, and then Braum puts his door up and, stuns them up?
Honestly, I realized, they kind of function the same way, you're kind of front to back. But, for Braum, oh, actually, I was going to say a word, you're a bit of a P word. You kind of, can't, just press the go button, you know what I mean? But, yeah. For, Alistar, you can just, mog in, you can just pulverize everyone. And then, yeah, you get Viega that reset, and it's game over.
That's the true Antic form, right? If you're not mogging in, you're not doing it right. So, mate, it was a very good game. Very phenomenal. I want to know, what was your thought process as a team, right? You obviously went in with a game plan. Have you been working on these particular comps and trying to really extend those out into these games?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I would say that we've been taking practice serious. We're having a good time. I know in my last interview, I was kind of like people could perceive it as BM. But I was obviously just bantering the whole time. Yeah, I kind of I dragged Incursor in. I know it was gonna be a fun time, and we're all bros. So yeah, if we seem BM, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, no, we're just having a good old time, honestly, and we're just getting better. So
Oh, it's a game after all. Skimmy, I know you want to ask this man some awesome questions.
I don't know.
Look, Dracu, you can talk about anything. Honestly, you can talk about anything. We could talk about your next hair bleaching color. We could talk about, how handsome we're going to be for LAN. But I suppose the question I want to ask you is how are you finding the split? Because those first initial weeks were a little bit rough around the edges. This one, we've obviously come out the gates and told our Ion, yeah, you could be a bit of a dark horse, but you're still not as good as us. So what has the focus been on getting yourself to the playoffs and I suppose getting yourself back into the grand finals again?
Honestly, I think that Fury game, I was just a bit too tired, and I'm never picking Braum again. I'm only picking Engage. I'm only mogging. So I realized, when I'm not engaging, especially when I'm on 400 milligrams of pre-workout. So I need to just engage pretty much. I think that's just a split. So yeah, I think we'll maybe make it to finals. I would say a high percentage. Just depends on how me and Reiku develops over the split.
It's strong. You're getting so many 2v2s that game, right? It felt like I was watching Chiefs of yesteryear.
True.
Oh
And
no,
I guess,
carried that team.
No. Before Aladoric joined. The first split, mate. The first split.
And I mean, I guess I want to ask because, you know, Skimmy kind of touched on it, but, you know, in the previous weeks, you guys weren't really having these clean performances, but you were still able to close out this game. But today, like, you guys just came out with this, you know, monster clean performance and, like, some of the best macro that we've seen from a team in our region so far. So, like, what would you say is the, you know, success to that, like, clean gameplay? Like, is there a certain player who's just, you know, stepped up and is calling, you know, the shots, or is it just, like, an overall, like, team improvement?
Well, honestly, I think that's why it's good to have an actual coach in OS. Like, I think Swiper's like very good at his job actually. You know, like he's like keeping all the boys accountable. Like, you know, no coping. Like, you know, like Dracu, like you're wrong, shut up. Like stop coping. You know, now watch this VOD and this is why I'm right. Type thing. You know, he's very good at like pulling the boys together. Make sure our like conversations are actually very you know, productive, and we're not just like horsing around and you know, just going in like circles of how deluded we are in OS. So
That's nice.
That's awesome.
yeah, so shout out Swiper.
Actually, I'd love to know a little bit more about how Swiper's fitting into that role, because we know he flexed in last split. He's now in the coach role. Like, are you guys enjoying it? Like, you've obviously said he's doing a good job, but are you guys finding it a bit of a different dynamic though?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely very different having some coaches in OS before, like in my past, who you know, they just say yes to everything. Swiper is actually someone who, like, you know, gives us good reasoning to his points, and I think, you know, last split he was kind of just filling in. I think you know, that's another weird story that I'm probably not going to talk about. But yeah, but he's definitely way more suited to become a coach, and obviously like he was coaching like what, like he was nearly about to coach LCS in NA, but that exploded. So.
Yeah, that's. Well, I'm so excited because like I remember when I chatted with him too, he was really excited to coach you guys, and I think that was a big passion for him. He wanted to see you guys really elevate. So do you think he's definitely leading you guys in the right direction? He's sort of pushing you guys to your limits?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like as I said earlier, like he holds us accountable. Like even if like obviously like we all have like real life, like, you know, stuff to do. Like, you know, I think like 3 of us are in like uni, and like 1 of us work at actual job. So yeah, like when we have time together, it's, you know, it's boys time. You know, we're just like a brotherhood. You know. Yeah, unlike last split, I'll say.
The brotherhood.
Wink, wink.
I love that.
Yeah, the boys.
The boys back at it. Moggen, daily, nightly, and ever so rightly. Well, Dracu, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome to have you on. Again, fantastic performance. I can't wait to see you Mog again in the very near future. You go and enjoy your night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
That's how he signs out. Just.
Yeah.
Bye.
He's like, I don't want to talk anymore. I'll let the pecs talk for themselves. Like, oh, there you go, mate. Like,
We start with the pecs, we end with the pecs. It's the only way to finish it off. But no, the confidence, right? Like that, it feels like a different Antic, would you say, Tally? I think the big thing we're taking away from that is they have a new mindset going into it. I think they had a rocky start, but it wasn't even that. I think their priorities weren't correct.
Yeah,
but now they're walking in the right way.
Definitely, I think you can tell the energy in the interview is like completely different. Like Dracu feels a lot more like confident in himself and his team. And you can definitely feel that. And like he gave a lot of that praise to Swiper, and I think it's very rare to find like you know, such a veteran roster who can have a coach that they respect. Like when I think back on the past and the coaches that I have, like Babip when he was my coach, it's just someone that you can look up to and respect, and you respect their opinion, you respect what they say, and I think that's so important when it comes to, you know, improvement as a team and making sure that everyone holds each other accountable. Is like this coach who can hold everyone together.
do you think adding to that, Tally, there's almost a level of like, we literally played together, so I respect you because I thought you were good enough to be my teammates. Like, obviously we have this like kind of bandwidth of conversation. Your case with Babip, obviously Swiper playing last split for them. So like, I guess even Benvi to a degree with Ground Zero as well, right? Where you've been playing, you got to a final. Like, I'm going to listen to what you have to say because obviously we're good enough to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. You've gone through all the nines with this person, so you're able to just, you know, have a very comfortable conversation, whether those are like the really hard combos that need to happen about like underperformances or, you know, just general conversation. You're just comfortable talking to this person because you've spent so much of your time with them.
That's it, man. That's what makes a team, right? It's the end of the day. If you don't have those connections, you don't build that, you're not doing the right thing. But we have to choose our MVP now, and we've already decided behind the scenes we chose, and it's the mogging man himself, Draku. Like, that support, 85% kill participation. Skimmy, the man is mogging daily.
Look, it's very easy to look at Raze or look at Incursor or look at anybody on that roster and be like, well, you know, they got all the kills, they got all the success, but I think it's very underappreciated for supports, right? And I think a lot of that was set up from the very get-go. In laning phase, obviously relentless with the Nautilus hooks in the game one. Second situation, you've had that crazy outplay whilst the fight's taking place top side of the map. They win another 2v2. Yeah, it's just great to see a support player show so much proficiency and, you know, alleviate the need to be like lock in Nautilus. It's an auto win. It's obviously more complex than that.
And it's the different side, right? Even Draku said it. He's like, he likes being on those engaged champs. So I think giving him the freedom to be himself in these games, Tally, is really the key to success.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would tend to agree with him after his interview, whereas like the Brom is more of like the passive champion, and you know, when he's unlocked on these engaged champions, he can do a lot more. Especially like in his own words, like when he's tweaking on the pre-workout, he wants to go in, he wants to be, you know, that impact player. So it's nice to see. And if Raze is complaining like, oh, my MVP got stolen, you should have got the Penta and it would have been yours.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, no Penta was happened today, but we'll have to wait for the next series coming up as we are going to go to a short break. Let's just get ready for it, as it is going to be Direwolves versus Bliss. It's going to be a banger. Stick around and find out.